Welcome to the Osmo Early Bird Podcast. It's your old pal EMAC coming to you with one Adam Ship, my money share, as we get ready for a unique Thursday slate. A so happy it's Thursday slate. Adam, how are you doing?
Doing good. Excited that it's Thursday already. More football, which I'm sure the game Thursday will suck, but gets us closer to Sunday, which is basically what is getting me through the last couple of weeks of baseball.
You know, I'm writing the free for everybody listening. It'll be on the homepage, but probably shortly after this is posted. I'm just putting the finishing touches on the article, the single slate breakdown for the Thursday night game. Adam, have you looked at the over-under? If you have not, do you want to guess what the over-under is? The two teams playing are Tennessee at the Jaguars.
I was going to say I had totally forgotten already who was playing, although I should have known because of Jalen Ramsey. But I would guess the total is like 37.
Oh, not bad. 39.
Yeah.
And I think it's that high because they're counting on some turnovers from their quarterbacks, including rookie, the swag master, Gardner Minshew.
Both quarterbacks have actually looked pretty good so far.
Yeah. Well, let's say his first week. This is a little preview, and then we'll talk baseball. We have plenty of time. Mariota threw for 248 yards in the first week. Last year, he played 14 games. That would have been his third best total.
Yeah, and to be clear, I also meant from a DFS standpoint. I have no idea how either guy has looked.
Oh, yeah. Well, Gardner Minshew looks like he is out of the 70s.
Yeah, I know what he looks like. I don't know what his performance has looked like. I just know what his fantasy lines have ended up at.
All right. Well, he went to Washington State Cougars.
Yep.
That's where my brother went, actually. So, in honor of my brother, this is a joke. This is for International Talk Like a Pirate Day, which is September 19th. So, Adam, are you ready for a joke?
So, if you're dedicated to your brother, does that mean I have to laugh at it?
No. It's a bad. I'm telling it, so you can tell already
exactly
what
it's going to be. I don't know the wording, but I know exactly how the joke goes.
All right, so Pirate walks into the bar. I mean, he's full on pirate. He's got the parrot on his shoulder. He's got the eye patch. He's got the hook for one of his hands. He's got the peg leg, and he's walking up to the bar. The bartender sees him coming in. He's like, "Oh my God, what's going on here?" And he looks at the guy and he's like, "The hell is that in his pants?" And the pirate comes up and goes, "Ah, laddie, can you pour me a long shank?" And the bartender's like, "Yeah, sure, of course," because he doesn't want any trouble. So he gives him the beer. The pirate drinks it, asks for another one. "Ah, laddie, can you pour me another long shank?" And the bartender's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. But I gotta ask, what is that? A steering wheel in your pants?" He goes, "Ah, it is. What's it doing there? It's driving me nuts."
All right, that was on your weighted scale of jokes. That was better than I expected.
I can't remember how the joke goes. All I know is the punchline. It's driving me nuts. So anytime you hear Laffy or somebody else say it's driving me nuts, all you're going to think of is me as a pirate saying it's driving me nuts.
Cannot wait for that.
My gift to you and to our listeners. All right, let's get into the games here. We've got 3 on the early slate. They're starting at 12:10, 12:35, and 1:05. There is a lone 4:10 game. And then the main slate looks like on the big sites, it's starting at 6:35. That's a little early. Yahoo is going to start their main slate at 7:05. There are 4 games at 7:05. The other sites are trying to get in 5th game at 6:35. Plus, they want to free you up because it is NFL. So they want you turning around and focusing on that. We will also have NFL Live Before Lock that will go after the Baseball Live Before Lock, and that will take you up to kickoff, which I think is 8:25 on Mondays, and I think it's 8:20 on Sundays, but definitely give that a look. Adam, our pitcher pairings, as we're going through here, hitting this quickly because there are not many big contests posted yet. Aaron Nola going against the Braves. Mike Soroka returning the favor there against Phillies. UC Kikuchi, the home run king, going against Joe Musgrove. Shocker, Joe Musgrove, very, very cheap at $5,700 on DK. And then in the third game, we have a couple of southpaws. You've got Madsen Bumgarner and Eduardo Rodriguez. So interesting pitching options. Clearly, Pittsburgh's going to be the favored offense. Everybody's going to be trying to pick on UC Kikuchi. But start out with Nolan and Soroka. Any highlights you would like to hit with them?
Tough matchup for Nola, of course, going against the Braves. Good pitcher, but he's expensive enough where I'm not sure that I would really want to focus on him in that matchup. And then Soroka, just not a lot of strikeouts, not very good strikeout stuff. And he's reasonably priced, but still a little more expensive than I would like. So I think that, it's a 3-game slate and they're both good pitchers. So you're probably going to get some if you're playing a bunch of lineups, but neither one stands out as someone that I would be really excited about.
All right. The next matchup, this will be where we're probably looking for offenses or going with our cheap SB2 on DraftKings Fantasy Draft. I'm just looking here. Kikuchi, basically top 3 in the league for home runs allowed this season, allowed 2 in his last game. He managed to last just 2 1/3 innings going against the White Sox. That one was in Seattle. He had 10 hits, a walk, 2 home runs allowed. Just not a good outing for him. He's been a disaster at this point. He's already pitched more than he has at any point in his career because Japanese season generally a little bit shorter, so they've been trying to curb his innings somewhat. He's at 151 on the season. His last 10 games, he's got 49 innings, 16 home runs. So that would equate out to 62 home runs if he pitched 200 innings, or essentially what Dylan Bundy has given up over the last 2 seasons. Just putting it in perspective. What do you want to do with UC Kikuchi or with Mr. Musgrove there?
Musgrove's the one that's more appealing to me just because I do think he's the better pitcher than Kikuchi, and you get more strikeouts out of the Seattle lineup than you do the Pirates lineup. Also, as you had pointed out before, missing the designated hitter. So a lineup that isn't very good and strikes out a lot now is worse and strikes out more for Seattle. So I think Musgrove's the preferred option. I do think that with it being a 3-game slate, he's probably going to be the highest owned pitcher out of everyone. So you can just from a game theory perspective, if ownership shakes out that way, pivot to Kikuchi for $900 less at $4,800. He's not good. The Pirates offense doesn't strike out a lot, but it's also not the scariest offense. You're really just hoping that he beats Musgrove, and in a sport like baseball, that's going to happen high enough percentage of the time that, obviously we don't have ownership projections yet, but I would think that you're going to get a big enough gap between Musgrove and Kikuchi that that's something worth considering.
All right, I remembered another Pirates joke since it's National Talk Like a Pirate Day on September 19th, and we're talking about the Pirates. This will be my last pirate joke, Adam. Adam, do you know what a pirate calls his treasure?
What's that?
Booty.
So much worse than the first one.
It's because I only remember punchlines, so I have to make up the joke. That one was not good. All right, enough joking around. Third and final game of the early slate. We do have Eduardo Rodriguez, Madsen. It is Madsen Bumgarner going there. They're 93 and 92 respectively there on FanDuel. Kind of the two interesting guys, unless you're going to go with Nola at 95. I'd be strongly considering those. Soroka at 8,100 just doesn't get the strikeouts. And then if we go all the way down to, we're not going all the way down to Musgrove because he's 8,000. He's 100 less than Soroka. And there's no way I'm going with UC Kikuchi. So FanDuel, I'm guessing the appropriate pitcher would be coming from this game. What do you got for us? Boston and the Giants.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for Bumgarner, but definitely pay attention to this Red Sox lineup. There's a decent chance you get neither of Mookie or JD, which would really water it down. You obviously prefer Bumgarner in San Francisco, but he's only 7,800 on DraftKings. If you get a Red Sox lineup that the only competent right-handed hitters are Xander Bogaerts and Christian Vasquez, that's actually not a bad spot for Bumgarner in that case. So there's a chance that it actually ends up being a sneaky good spot for Bumgarner.
All right, we're moving on to the DraftKings. I was wrong. FanDuel actually has their slate starting at 7:05, so they've got a 4-gamer. DK is going at 6:35, and then as I mentioned, Yahoo is going at 6. Probably at 7. So looking at DraftKings here, let me get the right windows open. I kind of like that they're going a little bit early. It's somewhat of an interesting game, Adam. You have Andrew Heaney going against the Yankees. That is a tough matchup, tough ask there, especially with all their righties that have power. However, Masahiro Tanaka at 7,500, quite intriguing against a lineup that does not have Mike Trout, that does not have Shohei Ohtani. So that one seems kind of interesting. How are you feeling about Masahiro Tanaka at 7,500?
He's just been so bad this year as far as strikeouts go. It's been pretty mind blowing, but only a 5 game slate. He is reasonably priced. No Otani, no Trout, like you said. So really watered down lineup. I think he's a perfectly fine option. You're not overly excited about it. You're not expecting the world, but he's cheap when you compare him to other pitchers and you consider that he's $2,300 less expensive than Kyle Hendricks. He starts to become appealing.
All right, and then too many windows on the other side. Haney, just even though we only have 10 to choose from and we have a couple openers, Haney feels a little bit dangerous in this matchup.
Yeah, a really tough matchup. He's a really good strikeout pitcher, but he will give up power as well. And you're talking about a lineup that we assume is going to have LeMahieu, Judge, Torres, Stanton, Voit, Urshela. Tons of right-handed power here. Not priced down enough for me to want to go there.
All right, heading on to our next game here. Let's talk about Toronto and Baltimore. It looks like Anthony Kay will be taking the mound for Toronto. He has gone 92 and 96 pitches in his last 2 outings. He has a 20 and a -1 DK score. He actually has not allowed a home run. He just tends to be a pretty heavy ground ball pitcher. It looks like got real lucky with the strikeouts against Tampa Bay in his first outing, 8 and 5 2/3 against the Yankees, 2 and 4 1/3. On the other side, you have Ynoa here, who has pitched he'll probably be good for about 55, 65 pitches there, but he has been single digits in 3 of his last 4 starts. We really should only count his last 3, 2, -2, and 10. Those aren't very good. Interest in either of these guys, Adam?
Sorry, this is the Baltimore game, right?
Yeah, K and Gabriel Ynoa.
Yeah, not the. So pay attention to the Baltimore lineup. If you were to be missing like Nunez and Trumbo and for some reason Alberto or something, it becomes a little bit more appealing. But most likely you're going to have a very right-handed heavy Baltimore lineup. Anthony Kay has shown okay stuff, but I don't think that it's a great matchup for him. So unless you get a really watered down lineup, I'm not going to be interested there. And then for Gabriel Ynoa, it's not a bad matchup as far as strikeouts go, but it's tough to expect him to go too far into the game. I think that he does carry some value just because you have Mike Clevenger facing the Tigers, and the mid-range isn't great on the slate. So I think you could at least make some argument where like spending $15,400 for Clevenger plus Gabriel Ynoa, you could make an argument is better than paying basically the same thing for like Tanaka plus Gibson.
And that makes absolute sense. Oh, reminder, we are sponsored by Yahoo. If you've not yet signed up, you can go to any of the Spotlight Hitters and Stacks articles. Those are free every day. You can find them if they're not on the homepage. You can go in the upper right, click on baseball or MLB, and click on articles, and then you will get all of the free content and pay content that we have for baseball all in one easy-to-find spot. Third paragraph will give you the link, promo code, and instructions on how to claim your initial deposit bonus of up to $30. That will be in YSRP's Yahoo Sports Rewards points, which are available for immediate use on the site to enter into any contest. Adam, moving along here, we've got 3 to go. We've got Detroit. We've got Cleveland. Mike Clevenger is going to be playing the role of Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole on tonight's slate. He's got a -350 chance to win, or Cleveland does, but it will mostly be due to him. How are you feeling about Clevenger at 11,400 when compared to Flaherty at 11,000 even?
I would really like Flaherty if he were discounted. I think he's been great, and obviously we'll talk about that. But the thing here is that Flaherty's facing the Cubs, Clevenger's facing the Tigers, and they're basically the same price. Clevenger has struck out 35.3% of hitters this year, 3.23 Sierra, in as good a matchup as you're going to get. So really tough not to be prioritizing Clevenger.
All right. On the other side there, Daniel Norris. I think last time he had a somewhat of an abbreviated outing, he's sort of the opener, but I think they're trying to get him to go close to 2 or 3 innings. Let's see. Yep, his last few times out, his last few, good God. His last 7 starts, he has gone 3 innings, so he should be good to go there. He's gone between 40 and 60 pitches in those starts, so that seems realistic that he should get there. Sad thing is he's 6,800 on DK. Again, we just have 10 pitchers to choose from, and they're even giving us an extra game. The reliever that is likely to follow him is going to be righty, so they're going with the lefty-righty approach. It's going to be Drew Verhagen. He is actually cheaper. He is 5,200. He is going to go about 65 pitches would be the guess, looking at his game logs. He has actually managed to go about 4 innings in each start. Does a little bit more with the ground balls, not as many strikeouts, which is the opposite of Norris. On the other side, we've already talked about Clevenger, but it'll be interesting to see what sort of a lineup we get from Cleveland. Franmil Reyes was away from the team for personal reasons, and I thought they had somebody else get dinged up. But how are you feeling about Norris or Verhagen? Giving us 2 choices, so I guess we have 11 options on this slate. Okay.
Yeah, really just not interested in either one. Cleveland doesn't strike out a lot. They're a good offense. Not interested in either of Norris or Verhagen.
Yeah, not much to do there. If you're going to target a particular hitter going against him, hey, this is the perfect matchup to get Lindor and Santana, since they are switch hitters. They can turn around and still have the platoon advantage against either of the pitchers. Talking about that battle for the NL Central, St. Louis and Chicago. This one's going to go down to the wire. The Brew Crew are still in the mix. Whichever of those 3 teams does not win the NL Central is going to be in the mix there for the second wild card spot, or both wild card spots, depending on how the Nationals finish. We have Kyle Hendricks at 9,800, Jack Flaherty at 11,000. The only site he's really got a leverageable discount would be FanDuel. Let's talk about Flaherty in general here, Adam. How are you feeling about this matchup for the 5th time facing the Cubs? 21 and a third innings, 26 strikeouts in those previous matchups, 1.1 whip, 3.8 ERA, 180 batting average against. Relatively solid, but that's more like an $8,500 price line than an $11,000 one.
Yeah, I mean, I love Flaherty as a pitcher. He's been throwing his slider more over the second half of the season. Since the middle of June, he has a 32.1% strikeout percentage, basically coinciding with his increase in slider usage. And against left-handed hitters in particular, he's increased that usage. So his strikeout percentage has gone from about 20% to open the season to 26.8% since he started throwing it more. So really, really good pitcher. It's just that when he's the same price as Clevenger, like even if you just take the numbers from when he's increased his slider usage, you're still not getting numbers that are as good as Clevenger. Then you factor in that most of Flaherty starts are against a team without a designated hitter, and Clevenger's are with a designated hitter, and you see that Clevenger is even better than the numbers Flaherty's putting up, and you're getting him at basically the same price point while he's facing a team that is above average offensively and below average in strikeouts instead of the worst offense in baseball.
Yeah, not a very exciting pitching night here that we have. Let's wrap it up, and then we'll give a few thoughts here on Yahoo and some football chatter, just to get us a little bit more meat on the bone here, as Lafayette likes to mention. The Royals, the Twins, the late night hammer at 740. You've got Mike Montgomery at 4,000 even. That's the as you've mentioned several times, Adam, the DraftKings pricing algorithm absolutely hates him. Tough matchup going against the Twins, but who knows who's going to be in their lineup? They've had a few guys dinged up and made some questionable choices there with some of their recent, or well, unexplained, I guess, choices with their recent lineups. On the other side, Kyle Gibson gets a matchup against 4.5 decent hitters here for the Royals. Both these guys are definitely in play, in my opinion, on DK.
Yeah, it's a brutal matchup for Montgomery. He's more talented than 4K. If he's getting any ownership whatsoever, though, I'm not interested. But with it being a 5-game slate and the Twins having a 6.5 implied run total, you're probably going to get substantial ownership going to Minnesota, which would make Montgomery a little bit more interesting. Like, he is at least fully stretched out, which you can't say about Inoa. He's certainly a better pitcher than Inoa. And between the two, my guess is he maybe has lower ownership too. So definitely being very, very cognizant of ownership there.
All right. So let's do this. Well, mention how do you feel about Kyle Gibson?
He's fine. I mean, kind of I feel the exact same way about Gibson I do about Tanaka. They're the best two, I think, mid-range pitchers. It's a decent matchup for Gibson. He's not a great pitcher. He has his moments because he does have good breaking stuff where when he's choosing to throw it, he can get strikeouts, but he doesn't do that all that consistently. So just a mediocre pitcher in a decent spot. I think that as far as preference between him and Tanaka, it really is close enough that it comes down to who is in each lineup.
All right, let's talk about the Twins lineup just a little bit. DraftKings lineup construction here. So Garver's 5,600. However, if we get Castro, that's a huge discount to 3,400. You get Willens, Astudillo, who is third base and catcher eligible at 32. CJ Cron did not play on, what night is it? Wednesday night, but he is 3,900. Gets the nice righty-lefty matchup. Luis Arias, who is still vying for the, well, I guess, I don't know if he's going to get enough at-bats, but he's in the mix there with the 350 batting average. I don't know that he'll get enough plate appearances to qualify. You need 3.1 basically per game. Miguel Sano, 52. That's pretty spendy. Polanco, 48. Cruz, 52. Rosario, 48. So let's just click on Rosario, Cruz. Oh, let's give us Sano. Yeah, I guess you can still do it. I was trying to figure out how, because if you're trying to save, like if you were to go Clevenger and Montgomery, which bats are you going to spend on? Because you're not going to go with Minnesota. So I said, all right, well, let's put in Gibson and Tanaka. And if I put in three of the most expensive batters, I'm at 3,800 per batter left. So it doesn't look like lineup construction is going to be really tough, which makes it interesting to see where people are going to go with Montgomery.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you go Clevenger, you're getting 4,300 per position.
Yeah. And you'd much rather do that clearly than go with Montgomery.
It really depends on the ownership. I mean, it's obviously a worse matchup for Montgomery, but he is stretched out. He is better than Ynoa. So there's also a chance that we get a watered down Twins lineup again. It's been happening a lot lately.
Let's see. Looking at FanDuel specifically, Clevenger at 11.8, Flaherty at 10.9. Is that enough of a difference to get you there?
I don't think so.
All right. Oh, now I'm seeing. Why do they have Jake Odorizzi here? I thought Odorizzi started on.
He did.
God, FanDuel, come on.
They had Gabriel Ynoa pitching yesterday also. So.
Oh, okay. Everybody's focused on football. Sorry. So back to Clevenger and Flaherty. If you were picking one of those two for that discount, does Flaherty get you there for $900?
I think it's still Clevenger. I mean,
yeah,
it's not the end of the world if you get to some Flaherty, especially because I'm sure he'll be lower owned. But if I'm just playing like a single entry lineup and have to go with one pitcher, it's Clevenger.
All right. So if you're going for two pitchers, we only have 8 of them here on presenting sponsor Yahoo. Clevenger at 55. Flaherty at 49, then you're down to Hendricks at 38, and then all of the other guys are between 25 and 30.
Flaherty at 49 is so nice, but Clevenger at 55 is just clearly mispriced as well. Honestly might be able to get both.
You can play both and still have $12 per hitter. So you're going to pass on the Minnesota hitters, but you're going to have the two best likely two of the better raw pitching performances. Which on the short slate, it becomes a deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's just normally enough cheap hitting. Like looking at the Orioles projected lineup, they have a couple of $7 hitters in there. Like you can use Austin Hayes. You can, if Trumbo's back, you can use him. From the Blue Jays side, you have inexpensive guys like Tellez and Teoscar Hernandez and Billy McKinney. I mean, there's
Vladimir Guerrero's at 13. I mean, come on.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's not really a shortage of cheap bats here.
All right,
there are in the Angels projected lineup, not that I'm saying like the Angels are in a good spot or anything, but the bottom 5 hitters in the lineup are all the minimum price.
Yeah. All right, so that'll work there. Let's talk they have some new games here on Yahoo. So on Sunday, they have the $500,000 baller or the $500,000 baller. It's a little bit different this week. There is a management fee. It is multi-entry 150, but the management fee is 10 compared to their usual 12, and the prices dropped to $10. It was at 25 the first week, 20 last week, etc. They still don't have CSV upload, so people are building them by hand. CSV upload is probably about 2-3 weeks away, just following along from what they've said on Twitter. So they're working on it, but at this point, that is the only contest that is more than a 10 entry max. Now, what else is out there? Well, they have a single entry contest, 2,000 people, which, by the way, I suspect they'll run another one because this one is 1,600 people out of the 2,000 are already in it. But single entry, $1,000 to first, 400 to second, 200 to third. So it levels out a little bit, but no management fee on that one. And then they've got a $25 contest for 100,000. That is, let me see. Oops, that is 125 max. And then where's the other one I was looking at? Then they've got 10 entry max for their quarter game, 500 to first. And then they've got a $1 that is 10 entry max. Pardon me, a $7 that is 10 entry max. And that one has 4,000 to first, $20,000 prize pool. So they're trying a few different things. They're going to see what sticks. But one thing I want to point out is last Thursday, I played a ton of Thursday to Monday contests on Yahoo because none of them were more than 80% full. Some of them were as low as 67% full. So give that a look on Thursday around kickoff. And if you can jump in there and get that kind of overlay, it's not a bad way to go. You don't have to pick anybody from the craptastic game that's taking place on Thursday, but you can pick people all the way through the Monday night game. So that is what I did, and I actually did okay. So it worked out for me. Now, the other thing I want to mention is just a quick preview of the Thursday night game. This is the Showdown slate. This article will be free. It will be posted shortly, but I wanted to call out a few different things. So this week, lineup construction going to be a little bit different. Everything is magnified. You want to get yards. Touchdowns are magnified beyond belief. Both defenses are in play. Both kickers very much in play. We don't know where the points are going to come from. So this is where you want to try to play it a little conservative and then do a little bit of home run hunting with the touchdowns. Now, you never know what's going to happen. We saw a couple crazy things. On Monday night, the top lineups did not have the quarterbacks in them. That was different. We talked about that on the show and ended up doing okay with that strategy. Sunday night, we thought, the defenses aren't going to be in play. Matt Ryan never turns it over. Carson Wentz barely does. They had 5 or 6 combined interceptions. Weird stuff happens. 1 game sample size, lots of variance. But this is going to be an interesting game. Even though it's a crappy game, there's a way different strategy to it than there would be with the games that have a 52 or 55 over-under. So this one is going to be interesting because you're going to be uncomfortable with probably 2, if not 3 of your players. That makes it a bit of a challenge and somewhat fun because people are not always willing to take those types of chances. So just throwing that out there. Adam, have you dabbled at all with the single entry NFL?
Yeah, a little bit. Not much success yet. Still kind of trying to figure it out because I haven't spent a lot of time trying to figure it out before I'm entering lineups. But yeah, I've played a little bit.
So you want to be careful. Again, we got the live before lock show. You want to check out inactives because this is where you get that, 4th running back, 5th wide receiver, etc. That you may think is a good play, and they may be inactive. So check that out. Last Thursday we had, probably Monday night, we had Dallas Goedert get hurt before the game. I probably saw 15-20% of the people going against me in my head-to-heads and 3-mans had Dallas Goedert. So pay attention. There's little ways people make mistakes. I like to play more conservative lineups. You can play the 3-mans, you can play the 5-mans, you can play head-to-heads, you can play single entry, double ups and stuff. There's really I say this every time, there's really no point in putting those type of lineups in the giant contest, but I did take third in the single entry $1, $5,000 prize pool. Adam, I shared it with 6 people with my hand-built entry, my conservative main team. It was 0.2 off of the lineup that took everything else down. So no quarterback in it, by the way. Weirdest lineup I've ever built. So just saying, strange things happen. Be smart. These are kind of fun. Even more of a puzzle than we normally see. So with that, gamers, we are going to get on out of here. You can follow Adam at ShipMyMoneyDFS. You can follow me at EMACDFS. And of course, it is Awesemo_COM. With that, gamers, good luck.